Before every meal, you might start with a pinch of salt. But have you ever wondered, why does this tiny white crystal hold such significance in Islam? Why did the Prophet Muhammad begin and end his meals with salt? And what hidden message does the Quran hold that's connected to salt? Today, we'll uncover 5 hidden Quranic secrets about salt, ones you may have never heard before. And by the end, you'll discover something that could impact both your faith and your daily life. Insha'Allah. Secret 1. Salt Na'i. The balance of bitterness. Surah Al-Furqan. You taste it in life. Sometimes it's sweet, sometimes unbearably bitter. Joy and sorrow, ease and hardship. They stand side by side like waves of 2 different oceans, but never truly blending. Ayah. And it is He who has released simultaneously the 2 seas, one fresh and sweet, and one salty and bitter. Surah Al-Furqan 25-53. At first glance, this verse speaks of oceans, of science, of the mystery of waters that meet but do not merge. But there's a deeper meaning, a spiritual reflection. Allah is showing us something about life itself, that just like those seas, your heart may face 2 opposing realities, one filled with sweetness, mercy, love, ease, and one filled with salt, hardship, bitterness, pain. And yet between them, Allah places an invisible barrier, a divine separation, a silent protection, a choice. You may be surrounded by bitterness, but it doesn't have to enter you. You may be swimming in salt, but your soul can still remain sweet. This verse is a reminder. Hardship and ease will always exist together, but you choose which one you absorb. Will you let the salt of hardship define you, make you bitter, resentful, and lost? Or will you stay close to the sweetness of mercy, knowing that Allah placed that sweetness near the salt, not far from it? There's a reason these 2 waters exist side by side, because life isn't about escaping pain. It's about staying soft through it. It's about knowing that Allah placed balance even in what feels like contrast. So the next time you taste the bitterness of a trial, remember, the sweet is just beside it, and Allah is the one who keeps them apart. So your heart can choose which one to drink from. Secret 2. Why did the Prophet start his meals with salt? It's such a simple act, just a pinch of salt. But in the Sunnah, even the smallest acts carry the deepest wisdom. Hadith, narrated by Abu Huraira, R.A. It is mentioned that the Prophet used to take salt before and after meals, referenced in Imam Ghazali's Ihya Ulum ad-Din. Why salt? Why not honey, or dates, or milk? Because salt isn't just flavor, it's balance. It sharpens the senses, it awakens the appetite, and it prepares the body to digest what it's about to receive. From a physical perspective, salt stimulates digestion, neutralizes harmful substances, and resets the body's internal balance. But spiritually, the lesson runs deeper. The Prophet was teaching us something profound. Begin with humility. Begin with the basic. Salt is not glamorous. It's not the centerpiece of a meal. It's small, overlooked, often forgotten. But without it, even the finest dish tastes dull. It's the unseen foundation, just like taqwa, just like intention, just like dua. By starting with salt, the Prophet subtly reminded us, greatness often begins in simplicity. Protection starts in preparation. And even the smallest things can carry barakah. He ended his meals with salt too, perhaps to cleanse, purify, and close with the same humility he began with. And maybe this is also the metaphor for life. Begin with balance, savor what is given, and end with gratitude and moderation, because in every pinch of salt there is a prophetic whisper, saying, don't overlook what grounds you. Don't underestimate the small. It might just be what keeps everything else in place. Secret 3. Salt repels the influence of shaitan. We see it as simple seasoning. But in the Sunnah, salt carries far more than taste. it holds spiritual protection. Hadith, the Prophet, said, "A meal that begins without salt is more vulnerable to shaitan's influence," reported by Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti, Al-Jami' as-Sagir. Why would shaitan care about salt? Because salt isn't just a food item, it's a shield. It's one of the quiet defenders against unseen harm. In Islamic tradition, salt is often used not only at the start of meals, but even in household practices. Placing a pinch in the corners of a room during cleaning, using it to neutralize heavy or negative energies, and beginning meals with it to keep shaitan away. It's subtle, yet powerful. Because shaitan thrives in spaces of negligence, excess, and imbalance. But salt represents the opposite. Purity, moderation, protection. By starting a meal with salt, you're drawing a line, a silent declaration. This space is under Allah's remembrance. Shaitan has no welcome here. And notice how practical it is. Salt awakens the body and prepares it for digestion. At the same time, it spiritually awakens the soul, preparing it to eat with mindfulness, not heedlessness. This is the beauty of the Sunnah. Even in something as small as salt, there is multi-layered wisdom, serving the body, the heart, and the soul. So the next time you begin a meal, take a moment. Add that pinch of salt not just for taste, but as a shield, a sunnah, and a form of quiet dhikr. Because when you protect the little things, even something as small as a grain of salt, Allah protects the rest. Secret 4. Salt as a healing. Remedy in prophetic medicine. In today's world, healing is often tied to complexity, prescriptions, formulas, and expensive treatments. But in the life of the Prophet, we find healing in the humble and the simple. And one of those timeless remedies is salt. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, RRA, writes, "Salt eliminates harmful bacteria from the body. It is beneficial for the skin, teeth, digestion, and headaches." From Tib an-Nabawi, Prophetic Medicine. Salt wasn't just a flavoring agent. It was part of the prophetic healing tradition. It held antibacterial, antiseptic, and detoxifying qualities. Used mindfully, it supported the body's natural balance. For the skin, salt mixed with water was used to cleanse and soothe irritations. For the teeth, it was used with miswak to maintain oral hygiene and kill bacteria. For digestion, it regulated appetite and helped the body process food efficiently. For headaches, a pinch of salt with water or vinegar was known to offer relief. This is more than folk tradition. It's a sunnah of well-being. The Prophet taught us that healing doesn't always come from what is new. Sometimes, it lies in returning to what is pure and natural. And here's the spiritual layer. Salt reminds us that Allah places cure in simplicity. He hides mercy in what the world might overlook. Through salt, we are reminded that healing isn't always expensive, remedies don't always come in bottles, and mercy can live in something as small as a grain. So when you sprinkle salt on your food or use it to cleanse, know that you're connecting to a healing tradition rooted in prophetic wisdom, a tradition that honors the body and uplifts the soul. Because sometimes the answer to pain is not in more, it's in going back to less, to what's pure, to what Allah already gave. Secret 5. Salt may taste bitter, but it's necessary. We often chase the sweet moments in life, joy, comfort, ease. But what about the bitter ones? The moments that sting, the losses that linger, the pain that doesn't let go. Tafsir, explanation. Allah has created everything in balance. Without the bitterness, you wouldn't recognize the sweetness. Without pain, joy might turn into pride or heedlessness. This is where salt becomes a powerful teacher. Its taste may be sharp, even unpleasant on its own, but try removing it from your food entirely. Suddenly, even the sweet becomes bland. Even the richest dish feels incomplete. That's what salt teaches you. Some bitterness is necessary. Not to punish you, but to awaken you. Not to destroy joy, but to give it meaning. Allah says in Surah Al-Furqan 25:53 that He placed two seas side by side, one sweet and refreshing, the other salty and bitter, and between them a barrier. This isn't just about water, it's a metaphor for your life. Allah places the sweet and the bitter next to each other, hardship next to relief, pain beside healing, salt beside sweetness, and between them, He places a boundary, a divine control, a balance that you can't always see but must learn to trust. So when life feels too bitter, remember, you're not being punished. You're being prepared to taste something sweeter, with depth, with gratitude, with humility. Salt doesn't just flavor your food. It flavors your soul with patience, resilience, and balance. And just as no dish is complete without a pinch of salt, no heart matures without a touch of trial, because in the end, it's the contrast that makes the sweetness real. And it's Allah's perfect balance that makes every moment purposeful, even the bitter ones. The twist, what you dismiss as minor, may be a path to Allah's mercy. Topic details, same reference, same style, 350 words. It's just salt. A pinch. Before a meal. Nothing big, nothing dramatic. You don't even think twice about it. But in the eyes of Allah, that small act, done out of love for the Sunnah, could weigh more than you ever imagined. Hadith. The Prophet said, Allah loves the deed of a servant who thinks it's small, as long as it's in accordance with the Sunnah. Sahih Tirmidhi. This is the beauty of Islam. Where the world sees minor, Allah sees intention. Where people overlook, Allah draws near. You may have followed the Sunnah by taking salt before a meal. You didn't announce it, you didn't post about it. But you did it with love. And that love was seen by the one who sees all. In a world chasing big gestures, Allah reminds us, sometimes it's the hidden quiet Sunnah that brings the most mercy. A sip of water in 3 breaths, sleeping on your right side, starting a meal with salt, smiling at your brother, saying Bismillah before entering your home. These are the seeds of Jannah, planted silently, watered by sincerity. So the next time you reach for that pinch of salt, remember, you're not just seasoning your food, you're reviving a forgotten Sunnah. You're walking in the footsteps of the Prophet, even in something as small as this. And perhaps on the Day of Judgment, it will be that tiny, quiet act, done with a heart full of love, that tips the scale in your favor. Because in Allah's sight, nothing done sincerely is ever too small. Brothers and sisters, from today, if you look at salt not just as a taste enhancer, but as a sign of Allah's wisdom, you'll realize the Quran hides oceans of mercy in every single word. Comment below, Ya Allah, teach me the secrets hidden in the ordinary. Subscribe and stay with us so that heart-touching lessons like this reach you every day.